Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here. The date is August 11th. You see how I had to look up? August 11th, 2021. It's 12 noon Eastern. I got to tell you, I woke up at 4 this morning. I couldn't get back to sleep. Just before the show started, I was starting to panic because I started feeling lousy. But now that we're on, I've got my strength back. I'm spinning. Excuse me. I'm going to introduce the guest. I'm going to call him Andy Jonsson, but it's really Andres. How do you say your name?
Andres.
No, it's not Andreas. Michael G. Cox thinks everything is Mexican. Okay. Or he wants it to be. Okay.
It's my this is the language I think in.
Okay. Really? Is that true?
For the most part, yeah.
Oh, what do you know? But you grew up in Texas. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay.
But half of my family is from Mexico.
Yeah, I gathered to some extent. Okay, you're like a French Canadian in the United States.
How dare you?
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's come back to the show. The guest's name, how do you say it? Andres, and it's Jonsson, Jonsson. These Scandinavians, they have almost normal English names, and then they got to screw it up by throwing in a double consonant. Why
he threw in an extra A in his first name. He said Andreas.
Did he?
No, if you say Andreas really fast, you say it correctly. Andreas.
You know, Michael G. Cox won that. Okay, he's right. You're wrong. Okay, you spelled one way, sounds another. You know, the show is international, but I can't be responsible for, being in touch with the Tower of Babel. Okay, thank you.
Andreas, how do you say your last name? Like
Jonsson.
How do you say it?
Oh, Jonsson. Jonsson. Okay, down there.
I thought he was going to pronounce it something like Smith.
Yeah. Okay. Michael G. Cox, thesalesrecruiter.com. Very wise man. In the other corner, all the way from Switzerland, Klang. I'm not even saying his name anymore. Klang, KLANG.SO. Okay, he's this guy, Ivan Gulenko. He got, he doesn't go on to my Facebook group and post every day. What ATS should I use? He made his own, and now he wants to sell it to you, okay? Clang.so. Let's get the show on the road, okay? This guest told me this morning he's not coming, okay? But thankfully, he changed his meeting, and he even sent me some questions to ask, which is unusual. Thank you for that, Andy. Okay? But the first thing, you didn't mention this. You have a certificate. You are an official storytelling for influence graduate. I always wonder, what on earth does storytelling mean, okay, in the recruiting business? Do you call up a candidate and say, let me tell you the story of this company? 20 years ago, Bill Jones and Andre Johansson got, in their garage and they started working. And what is it? Tell me.
It's about self-belief. It's pretty much the same as with any other thing.
Wait, hold on. Storytelling is self-belief?
Yeah.
What does that mean? That you eat your own dog food when you tell a lie? I mean, what's the story? What are you saying? No, hey, everybody, I asked him a question. How do you use storytelling in recruiting? Do you use it in recruiting or not? Yes or no? Let me start there.
Yes, you do, because you got to sound convincing.
Give me an example. Go ahead.
So you're pitching a company, a position with one of your clients, and you're pitching to a candidate, and you gotta know what you're gonna say next. You're not gonna stutter. You're not gonna feel like you can talk
like without telling a story. A story is like Hansel and Gretel. They went into the forest. They met the witch. What is a story? I won't. We agreed. I messaged with this guy on LinkedIn. He said, "Look, if I can't answer your questions, just move on." Okay, I'm about to do that, but I'll give you. Does anybody else want to comment here? Michael G. Cox, do you tell stories? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, give us an example of a story you tell.
When I'm doing like phone screens?
No, when you're recruiting, do you have a story? Do you tell a story to the candidate? Do you tell a
Yes.
story to the? Go ahead.
Oh.
Give me an example of a story.
No, it's situational, man. It's different every time.
What does that mean? Okay, you make up your ad lib stories. Is that what it means?
Yes, absolutely. So I was talking to a guy yesterday who is interested in a sales management position that I'm working on here in San Antonio, and he and I had crossed paths like 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and he's now selling furniture.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about how difficult it is to find furniture inside the United States these days. People are waiting 6 or 8 months, and we started talking about supply chain, and we started talking about how manufacturing has dropped across the globe, and which is causing all
And
of
did he
these
ever say
backups.
to you, Mike, can you get to the point? Forget
No.
the chit chat. No.
Hell
Okay,
no.
I'm going to tell everybody. I just want to point out to the audience, if there is an audience, I asked a simple question. What storytelling do you tell a story? I couldn't
It's
get an
more
answer from the guy.
conversational
I
than just
couldn't get
me.
an answer from the guy who took the course. So I asked this other expert. Oh yeah, I tell stories. The only story he told us is the
Was the
story of how
conversation.
he came to this candidate. What you were talking about with the candidate was not a story,
I told
in
you a
my
story right
opinion.
now.
It was discussing business. Ivan, last word. Do you tell stories, yes or no?
Say no.
Yeah, to make a to make a point, I suppose.
Tell us. Do you have an example? And if you don't have one, just say no.
Yeah, you should probably say no. dude.
Look, he's doing like he's on a quiz show, trying to think of the answer. Okay, forget it. We're moving on, everybody. But there you go. Everybody's always telling you, tell stories, tell stories. Okay, I don't even know what they are after asking 3 people. Experts. Okay, Andres. Okay,
Andy.
when
Let's
you
do
talk,
Andy.
when you talk to your clients, when you have an intake session, do you say, look, you know, I read the news in the United States, it's big news. The governor of New York was kicked out because of sexual harassment. I want to know, what's the sexual harassment situation in your company? Does anyone ever ask that? Do you ask it so you
I
can
do,
tell a
actually.
story?
Yeah. I do, and I've invoked scandals from the.
A little louder.
I've invoked scandals from the U.S. when I'm talking to clients. I had a.
What point do you bring that up? Hey, have you had any sex
How
problems at your
dare
company?
you use us as an example?
No, you know, you don't want to assume people are sexual predators in the workplace. Of course not. But I did a training a couple of years back with the executive team and some management team, 20 people from the largest retail company in Iceland, and I got a hunch looking at the group that, you know, this was a really male dominant culture, and I'll give myself credit. I said, I think you're going to have a problem with sexual harassment cases. You're going to be especially vulnerable because you have a really male dominant management culture.
Let me interrupt you. I didn't want to do it earlier, although I could tell. You know how people say, the guy talked, as soon as the candidate talks 5 seconds, I know if he's answering the question or not. Well, you didn't answer the question. You were consulting with a company. I'm speaking, this shows for recruiters. When you're doing an intake session with a recruiting candidate, do you ever ask about sexual harassment? And since you'd use it in your regular consulting work, I forgot to mention, we didn't talk about his background, what kind of work he does. He does consulting as well. We'll get to that. Sorry, Andres.
No,
Do
it's
you
fine.
ever ask that question in an intake session when you've got a recruiting job to do?
So of the client, if they have a problem with if their culture is how it is.
Okay, so you do your consulting and the recruiting together. You never do recruiting independently of consulting them on their bigger issues. Is that what you're telling me?
No, we have a separate recruiting department that I'm.
So when do you ask, hey, buddy, do you have any sex problems in this company? Answer the question.
I wouldn't address it directly, but yeah, to me, the storytelling issue actually is quite relevant because it's in terms of anecdotes. You're too fixated, Michael, on the
animal recruiting animal on the show.
Sorry,
Wake up.
Animal.
Michael's below me. Michael G. Cox. He's the Michael
That's
on
me.
this show.
Yeah, animal.
Okay, hold on. Let me move on. Michael G. Cox, do you ask
Storytelling.
about sex? Hey, any sex problems at your company before I start recruiting? Do you ever ask that question?
No.
Ask about the culture. Yeah.
What about you, Ivan? Do you say any bro problems, any bro culture, bromance type things there?
I will consider it in the next.
No, you don't. Okay. Andres, I think we're finished with that question. Okay. Why don't you tell us what you do now? Okay. What's your website?
It's God, as in God.
Nice.
It's samskipti, which means good communications in Icelandic.
Okay, you don't have an English URL pointing there as well. I got to tell you, his Twitter page, don't go there. It's all foreign language.
Hey,
Okay?
can you put the website in the chat just so I can know how to spell
I think it's like Goddardammerung or something like that. Okay.
Now we only handle like Icelandic.
You only work in Iceland? Isn't that too small? Is it as big as New Jersey?
It's about half the size of Dublin in Ireland, according to Dualta, which I had a chat with, who was a previous.
Yeah, we
guest
know
on
who
your
he
show.
is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's tiny. Is there enough business there?
No, well, not really. But if you,
But you speak perfect English. I got to tell you. You speak perfect angle. I don't know why. You could work anywhere in the world. Okay.
I'm glad to hear it, but it's as you
Mario.
know, it's a business. You got relationships.
Okay. Okay. So what kind of positions do you recruit on?
We focus on management roles within growth companies, so IT companies, export companies, any that are mainly technical in some nature.
Okay. Okay. Do you make, here's a question right off the bat. I didn't know this. I've got your questions and you gave me good questions to ask you, but I wanted to know this.
But I'm going to ignore those.
Do you, sorry, I do. Do you advise your client which candidate, you give 3 candidates, let's say, do you ever say, I would hire this one if I were you? Do you ever do that? I do it.
I do it too. I think it's the key thing of being a good consultant is to give them your opinion, and then of course they make the final choice. But I don't think you should I don't think you should just to try to salvage the relationship, to let them hire someone that you don't think is the best candidate. In the long-term strategy is to give your straight opinion. Maybe you put some sugar on it, but if you think they're making a mistake,
I'm not talking about well, hold on a second. Ivan is famous for saying that his notes to his clients are his strength, okay? And he believes in the 360 warts and all profile, and so do I, okay? So when you're recommending a candidate, you do caution. You say, this is why I think Mary is better than Jane, okay? So you're not sugarcoating everything. So are you saying you lie when you sugarcoat? I mean, what are you telling us there?
No, you have your client. You don't want to insult them. It's not the business.
Oh, you mean when he says or she says, "Oh, I'm going to take Jane. I'm going to make the offer to Jane," and you say, "No, Mary's much better. I have done that," and they go against me. Michael G. Cox, do you advise when you have more than one candidate? Do you tell the client, "Look, this is who you should hire"?
Rarely.
But you're kidding. You don't give them advice?
It never works out well. The few times that I have, dude just ends up flaking out for some reason. He gets another offer or whatever.
Shocker. Mario R., I won't tell what country you're in because you get mad at me every time I say it, okay?
Exactly.
So what do you give advice to your client and say, look, you can do what you want, but Mario R's only once you've done it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, specifically.
Why don't you do it? Don't you think you can assess your candidates? Or
No,
this is
it's
my
not about
phase?
assessing the candidates. It's about if I get a candidate onto the final level, I'm happy about it. Okay. And if I have 2, I don't care whom they hire.
Your sound is terrible today, is it? Or maybe it's me. I don't know. Ivan, do you
Dude,
do
it's
it?
always you.
It's always me. Okay, Ivan, do you advise your clients which candidate you favor?
Oh yeah. I mean, if there is like let's say I had this a couple of times, like it was like almost kind of exclusive search, and there were like 2-3 people, and I was like, okay, this person is like really behaving terribly towards me, like literally like complete disaster.
Oh, that's a
and this other
dirtbag
person-
interview. Yeah, okay. So this guy's a
Yeah.
dirtbag. That's, I don't like this guy's personality, so you'll say so. Okay.
No, I'm
But
not
what
like,
about
like I wouldn't
technical
say
issues?
that. I would give like actually like I would never say something like that. I would give
I would.
exact concrete examples. Like this guy probably
Yeah,
like called
that's
me and asked me like, how much money I make off of him. Like I give facts, which already tell like this is a little bit inadequate like things to ask, although actually it could be adequately asked in a nice way or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and you
like
know
this
what?
person-
You guys
You
aren't
can
good
tell them $1 million.
storytellers. They're not good storytellers. Go ahead. At least not off the top of their heads, okay?
Hey, Animal, if it makes you feel better, I tell clients who to hire all the time.
Oh,
If you don't have a phone, if you don't have your camera on, you're not allowed to speak.
he
You-
is
you
allowed
wanna-
to. Yeah, let's come on. Show yourself. Okay, it's $1 million man, and Andy,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some free
Oh,
consulting.
God, turn it off.
This guy bills $1 million a year, okay? And he's going to give you advice about your pricing while you're on this show. That's a point I remember you raised before. But first of all, Richie Rich is going to tell us what kind of advice he gives to his
Richie Rich.
clients.
Absolutely. If it's down to my two candidates, I want the guy that's going to, I think is clearly going to do the best. He's not going to embarrass me, and he's got, you tend to know a lot of the behind the scenes stuff about your candidates. So why not share this? You're not going to show all those
Like
dirty
what?
secrets.
The guy's a drug addict? Oh, don't hire the second guy.
No, but none of these
Got a
guys are considered
problem.
like that. But if the guy's a prima donna who's a pain in the ass, he's going to ask a million questions. Of course, you're going to steer him towards the guy that's going to make your hiring manager.
Hold on a second. If you say, look, don't hire Bill, he's a prima donna, won't your client
But
say,
that's
well,
not what
why
you're
on
saying.
earth? Why
You're
on
not
earth?
gonna- You're not going to tell me it's a prima donna. You may know he is, but if you've got two candidates in the race, I'm going to steer him toward the guy who's going to make it.
I personally, I think you should tell. Andy, what do you think? If you know what a prima donna is, right? Self-important exhibitionist. If you've got a candidate like that, do you
Yes.
think you should tell the client? I do.
For sure, and the man that usually nowadays is anything but a prima donna. Nobody wants that anymore.
You are wrong, Rich. You are wrong. I mean, you might make 10 times more money than I do. Okay?
No.
But I'm going to tell you
Wrong.
on
That's
a
the
moral
thing.
basis. On a
The
moral
great
basis.
part is I am not wrong.
Okay. Here's, Rich, as long as you're here, before I be here, I'm just going to, Rich has derailed the show, and maybe in a good way. You charge a rate like 12% or 12.5% fee.
Oh,
Is
Jesus
that right?
Christ.
Okay, tell him what he's doing wrong. Rich, tell him what he's doing wrong, because you can tell just by talking to him for a few minutes. He's a nice
That's
guy.
normal
He's-
over there, Rich.
He's a
Yeah,
smart
It's not
guy.
normal anywhere.
Smart
Wait a
guy.
second.
His English
It's
is
not as
perfect.
bad as India, okay? In India,
What is it in
8%.
India? Not that you're there, but how
8%.
bad is it?
8%. 8%.
Oh, Jesus
After
Christ.
90 days, you get paid, okay? Just imagine the scenario. That's why I don't know. Look at the Indian recruiting on this. I'm like, go to hell. Who wants to work for
Hard
you guys?
pass.
Hard
Oh my
pass,
God.
not a hard pass, a knockout.
Okay.
That's
Wait a
nuts.
second. Okay, but Rich, there's one thing. The guy's working in a country the size of half the size of a small city. So
Hey, money's
You know-
money. Where, Andre, where are you?
Reykjavik, Iceland.
Oh, that's cool. The
Holy
yeah,
crap,
I
you
mean,
guys are like 350,000 people.
yeah, there's like 7 people working. So I mean, take what you got to get. I mean,
Rich, Rich,
you can
what
work
can
in
he
the
do?
States from Iceland, but
what can
Yeah.
he do? Give him some advice while he's here.
Don't
well,
encourage
I mean,
them.
ask for more money. It's not that hard. You're going to find 1 million people going to tell you no, but you're going to find 1 million people that are going to tell you yes. Or in
There's
your
not
country,
1 million people
I
there,
know.
okay?
you get, one, you need a bigger pool.
That's true.
So,
He should
You-
work all Europe. He should work
Yeah.
all of Europe. I mean,
mean-
no, really, you come across very well, at least in the
Yeah.
last few minutes
You
that I've
work
let you
Canada,
talk.
man. You guys are practically neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, you work. One, you can work in the States from there. You can work in the UK from there. You can work other places. There's
Canada,
no
go
law
to
that says you
Canada.
have to. Yeah,
It's- it's
exactly.
the
You don't want to work in Canada. I mean, Jesus. But
It's the same
I
time
mean,
zone as London, really here, and only a couple of hours from Central Europe. And if I would expand, I guess I would expand to Norway. I actually speak Norwegian.
Perfect.
That's my plan B, definitely. But maybe it should be my plan A.
Ich meine, huge money in Norway is like biggest salaries in Europe, like with Switzerland. They're the two countries where people go to make money, Norway and Switzerland.
Norway, they have over 5 million people. There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Over 5 million people. Wow.
yeah, it's almost the size of Massachusetts. It's great.
It's quality, not quantity.
Like two Texas
Exactly,
cities.
exactly. And that, to your point, is quality searches will pay you more than whatever this 12% garbage is.
But I'll give you one anecdote. It won't be a story animal. It's just an anecdote.
An anecdote is a story. Okay, go ahead.
Then we're on the same page. So that's what I was saying all along. But Norwegians, they have an oil fund where they put all the money so they don't spend it when they earn it. They're so rich. And this oil fund, the sovereign oil fund that they have, owns more than 1% of all stock in the whole world. So all the listed stock, 1% is owned by this one fund that is owned by the Norwegian people. So when you talk about Norway being a little bit small, maybe you shouldn't talk shit about Norway.
Okay, if I want to talk shit about Norway, I will. Excuse my language, everybody. Okay. Well, what side was Iceland on during World War II?
With you came and gave us a lot of Marshall assistance, and you took us.
Okay. Good.
Took us into the modern world.
Oh,
Thank
Man, now it's getting good.
Good. Okay. I can't say the same about Switzerland and Norway. We know what happened there. Okay. Okay. But
They got a big fund.
okay. Here's one of the topics
Can
that
they kick
Andy
my
gave
ass?
me. Okay. Here's one of the topics: branding for recruiters. He's boasted to me that this is one of his specialties. He said, "Don't be hard on me, but I got a feeling we are going to be hard on you." What is branding for recruiters that you want to tell us? What do you want to tell us about branding for recruiters? Go ahead.
I think it's the solution for even my own problem of not being able to charge enough is the brand of being someone who is who has the biggest network, who has access to all the information in the market, who's well regarded. So growing your brand as someone who is has a good reputation, who is sought out as an expert.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's say you want to break into the Norwegian market, okay? Because of your fantastic linguistic skills, you don't have to speak Norwegian. I have a cousin in Sweden. I'd never met him, okay? But I phoned him up. They answered the phone, hello, and started speaking to me in English better than I speak, okay? So I bet you could do business in Norway without even speaking Norwegian. But this is what you say. This is my... I speak Norwegian. I guess that's going to be one of your branding tools. What other branding tools are you going to use to brand yourself to move into that new territory?
I would definitely, the first tool I would use is content marketing. It's nothing new, but our most successful branding tool in Iceland has been our 40 under 40 top list of upcoming management talent. Nothing has, we got like probably 40% awareness.
Okay, so hold on. So here's what the guy does. They run some like Miss America show with the top 40 business young startups, or what is it? What kind of business people?
No, it's people, CFOs and executive suite level people below 40.
Okay, fine. So you do that. So could we say then Michael G. Cox in San Antonio, could he start a contest or like an online, what is it, a presentation of top 40 under 40 sales managers or something like that? Is that what you're advising?
For sure. People just are mostly interested in other people and seeing how they got where they got.
I think that's a good idea for you down there, Michael G. Cox. What do you think?
Got no time for that.
No time for it. Okay. The guy spends hours helping for free these VPs of sales
That was last
find
year,
jobs.
Dude.
Okay. But someone told me that content marketing is a long game. Okay. The rewards aren't going to come really fast, right?
No, but when they come, they really come, and you're planting seeds that you're going to be harvesting for years. So you won't get the current, like if you like us, we want to hire for all the main CEO jobs in Iceland. We're not, we're not connected to the decision makers, all the decision makers at the moment. So our main competitor gets most of those assignments. but the people who are
You know
succeeding
what?
on.
He's not giving me good advice on branding, okay? What about you, Mario R? I got to tell you, he's got an engaging personality. I've met him enough times here. That's what I would say. I don't know anything about his recruiting skills, but just talking to him, he's good. If he would get a better camera, okay, so he didn't look like a ghost, he could actually, I think, appeal to a lot of business people. Hey, this guy's fun. I'd like to deal with him, okay? Do you do any content marketing, Mario R? Branding?
Mostly email marketing. I'm actually working on the content. I work on mostly email marketing. I'm working on the content marketing as we speak, actually.
So the email marketing, is that the same as content marketing?
No, content is more like information and snippets of data, right? That are relevant to the audience. Email marketing is. Oh yeah,
It can be if you.
It's both related and disrelated also, not related also.
Let me just check something before, I know Rich doesn't do content marketing, okay?
Rich doesn't need to.
Yeah, well, that's
That guy knows everyone.
He's got business. Your business is just, people are falling all over themselves to do business with you, Rich. Am I right about that? Is that what?
At the moment today, yes, but you get the content marketing is great if you've got someone else to do it. If you're a solo, I mean, it just takes forever, and it's such a slow build.
Why? Just chalk it off the top of your head.
If you want to just write a quick article, no, I will tell you. I started playing with Jarvis.ai. That's definitely an interesting tool if you want to start doing blogs and stuff pretty quickly. But again, I mean, if you've got a ton of jobs like you do in this market, I mean, who has time to write articles? I mean, I barely have time to write email.
Okay, Rich says you don't need, in this market, you don't need content marketing. Mario's doing email marketing, which I just assume we could ask the contents about that later. I know that Ivan does content marketing, and I think it's really good. I post a lot of his articles or snippets from them in my Facebook group. Do you get any results from that?
Animal, to correct you on one thing, excuse me, Ivan, sorry.
Sorry.
Just to correct you on that, I am working on the content marketing as we speak.
Okay.
Okay, just takes time because I'm building my team on one side and doing the content marketing, organizing on the other side. Man, I just got two hands.
Okay.
And 24 hours.
Okay. So let me move on, okay? You wanted to talk, so I'm striking you out on all the things you wanted to talk about, Andy, okay? What about sourcing? That was another one you wanted. What did you want to tell us about?
I especially mentioned, don't ask me about sourcing because
why do you think he wants to talk about sourcing?
Okay. Hi, Ernie.
How are you?
Hi. Food industry recruiter showing us his ceiling again. Okay.
Hey, he's got it.
Now he wants to show us his stomach. Thanks.
I'll show you something.
Electricity went out today.
Oh, okay. Networking is the next topic. Okay. Does
12
anybody
hours.
else? Food industry recruiter is Ernie down there. Okay. Does anybody else have a question for Andy?
Yeah.
Nobody go ahead.
Yeah. And Andy, why did you pick rec to rec, or do you do any other niches specifically?
I don't do rec to rec, no. Or
because I heard you mentioned rec to rec somewhere. So
No, he didn't.
Dude.
So what is your niche?
I had a talk about niche with Dualta actually on a LinkedIn chat, no, we don't have rec to rec in Iceland because we have like 5 or 6 agencies.
That's awesome.
In the whole of the country. So
I think I have 5 or 6 agencies in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I want to drop one bomb on you as well. We have like 80% reply rate on in mail. So
what?
He gets his response,
Everyone's a
not
neighbor.
reply.
That's where
response.
LinkedIn makes sense. That's where LinkedIn makes sense. Okay.
I get
That's
like
that's freaking
response
crazy.
rate from people I reach out to.
That's
Wow.
impressive.
Yeah, tell us. Well, there.
Maybe
this
his
is not
messaging
something-
is very good. Or they
What's
see
your
his face
subject
and they're like,
line?
oh
What's
God.
your body?
It's
Well,
a
We
bit,
finally figured out what LinkedIn was talking about when they quote all their high response rates that you get from InMail. Oh, yeah, 80% response rates. Yeah, in Iceland.
How do you do it? How do you do it?
They're
Okay.
all related. They're all
How
related.
do you get a high response rate?
it's because you guys don't speak Icelandic, and you haven't come in here and polluted the candidate base with a lot of
Hold on, you've got such a small candidate base. 5 recruiting agencies must bug the hell out of them, just like we bug the hell out of people, right?
No, because it's the aggressive tactics. Because there's less competition. People are not aggressive enough about it. They don't stay on the phones enough, and they're not, they're not really pushing those LinkedIn messages out there enough. So people are not really. People
what's
aren't.
your subject line? What's your subject line? Just tell me, okay?
I have an opportunity for you. It will be simple
Just
as that.
straightforward. Just straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Can we
what's in the body of your message?
Hey, I'm working with such and such this kind of company, and I got
That's straightforward, brief message, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what you don't do email marketing then, because your market's so small. You're not doing what Mario R is doing. Am I right?
No, I do it. Definitely, and I combine it. It's part of my content marketing strategy.
Oh, okay. So you link to your own articles. You link to your own articles.
Hang on, I have an 80% open rate of my email marketing.
But I'm going to move to Iceland. I've decided I'm moving to Iceland. That's it.
In Iceland,
I'm going there.
in Iceland, there's only 150,000 candidates in LinkedIn. From in Iceland, it looks like.
Right.
That's a lot. I wouldn't have.
150,000 in the entire country?
You're crazy.
There's only 5 agencies.
Sounds about right.
That's what I'm shooting for in like one part of Tampa where I have a client.
That's like one search, for Christ's sake. Good Lord.
Hey, that's awesome. I had an 80% response rate when I was in recruiting in 1993.
Yeah.
No, wait.
When they were inventing
Is
email.
the response rate that they open the email or that they actually call you or connect with you?
So the email marketing is not for positions. It's just for content marketing, stuff about the market.
He's just building rapport. He's building. He's doing the log.
Hold on a second. Now Ernie's a real detective. I didn't hear the answer to that though. Ernie said, "Well, are you really getting a response? Or are you just counting the open rate? Which was it? I wasn't clear. Do people get back to you?
I was clear that I use email for content marketing. I don't use it for reaching out to candidates that much. I will use it.
I understood the exact opposite. What's wrong with me? Okay. Somebody else ask him a question. Go ahead.
I didn't understand the answer on that one. There was no answer. No.
The answer was
where does
nailed
80% come from? 80% of what?
From LinkedIn, from Facebook messages, from Twitter DMs, from Instagram DMs.
Okay, so then you send out all those things.
Yeah.
Is your purpose to talk to them or just to get them to open up whatever they're reading?
Talk to them, to get them to consider the position, to get them on the phone.
So then 80% of them call you back.
Yeah, or say they're open to me calling them, and they'll.
I heard that too. That's what the first time I heard. Okay.
That's
Anybody
impressive.
got a question? Anybody want to talk to him? Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is like a look back, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, you should be advising me, Michael, because in 1993.
Animal.
No, I'm talking to
the real Michael.
Oh, Michael G. Cox. Okay. No, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
This is like, you should be advising me, because this is like Back to the Future for you. If you could go back in time, what would you do with all the tools
like
you have today?
email really took off, and I remember getting those first emails like in 97, 98, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I got an email." I don't know if I could advise you because I can't remember back that far.
You're only 10 years old.
There's a guy, I mention him quite often, Thomas Chamorro Premuzic. Okay, he's a professor, and I like his writing. And he says that extroverts are very good at marketing. Okay, but they're not good at relationship building. I'd say the people here, Rich is an extrovert, Mario R is an extrovert. You're not an extrovert, Andy. Ivan's not an extrovert, and Michael G. Cox and Ernie are in the middle. Okay, so would you say that introverts build better rapport with candidates and extroverts are too shallow to I would say no. I would say not at all. I would say the introverts.
Well, let him answer.
Okay. I totally object to be called that word. Even though
not with the animal, no. I think there's a tough spot.
Don't call him Michael. Don't call him Michael.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
man.
did you say that the introverts are cold fish and that they don't really build close relationships like this guy claims?
I think both can. You can be an introvert and an outward, and you can be good at building relationships. I don't think it's a big thing.
Okay, anybody else in on that?
It can be a learned skill also. I mean, building a relationship you can also learn as a skill.
Yeah, tell me how. I don't know how.
Hold up,
I mean, read a lot of
before
books on
Mario
human
explains.
psychology.
Before Mario explains that, one of the problems that I had with when I was on the corporate side, we had a branch, let's say, in a different city, and they were always hiring just like mini-me's. It was like, oh, he's like me, hired. And we ended up with a bunch of extrovert type A personalities. And the problem that we were having with the clients in that region, and this was like flat out feedback that the president got when he called on those companies that were saying no to us, is your people never listen to us. They never listen. They just talk. And so it can be dangerous to have a team of extroverts.
Okay, let me ask you something, Michael G. Cox.
Never pause to speak.
Is Rich Rosen, cornerstonesearch.com, is he an extrovert or an introvert? He's an extrovert. Anybody can see it.
I was going to say
Michael,
extrovert.
hold on one second. Animal, hold on one second. He's an extrovert generally, but the questions and the way he talks is very, he gets deep into the subject. So I would say he's a mix of an extrovert and an introvert. You can also have different personalities according to the situation. Now, for example, I'm extroverted here, but if you catch me in the boardroom, I'm an asshole. I won't open my mouth. I just watch and wait while my guys keep on talking.
I don't think extrovert and asshole are mutually exclusive.
I'm just giving you an example here.
You wouldn't, Animal, you wouldn't.
They're synonyms, aren't they?
Yeah.
I also think that Rich is an extrovert in his relationships. He tells people like it is. He doesn't, Rich, I don't see you as the kind who would go around and saying, I'm a great listener. Is that you, Rich?
No, I mean, I think I am a great listener, but I don't go around telling people that. But
One second.
Introverts are always great listeners.
Animal, one second. Animal, to
Rich,
quote
you were
your
supposed to,
Rich
you were
one
supposed
day
to
said
answer, Rich.
something.
What was the question?
You know what
Mario
he said?
R.
One second.
Mario R. He's got something burning to say. Go ahead.
Yes.
Please, Ronnie, sorry.
Go ahead, Mario. It's you. You're up.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Rich one day said
Listen.
simple line, okay? He just asked, I was just listening to his statement. He just said, tell me what's going on. And he said, just keep quiet and listen. That's an introverted question, man. And that big
I mean, but
you
most people are both, because depending on the situation, they're either going to be like life of the party, put the lampshade on their head and dance around, when they're in that situation. But I find most people either are faux confident and they're going to, if they're in their element, they're super confident, they're super extroverted. But, in just a general situation where they don't know anyone or whatever else,
That sounds good to me.
they're going to observe,
True.
They're not just going to go walk around like a big mouth and say, I did this, I did that, I know this, I know that.
But then some people must rarely be in their element if what you said is true, okay? Because they just got nothing to say, okay? Somebody else want to
Most
comment
people
on
like
that?
Yeah.
Most folks are like that.
Anybody else want to comment on that? Andy, are you? I brought this up because supposedly extroverts are good marketers and introverts aren't. Do you want to? And you're a marketing guy. You told me you were a PR.
I'm not a
guy.
good marketer. If I'm an extrovert, I'm not a good marketer. I think that guy.
You know what, Rich? Give the guest a
Rich,
chance.
were
Go
you
ahead.
20 years ago?
Andy,
Rich, shut up, Rich.
Yeah.
don't shut up. Andy,
Go back to
Andy,
Iceland. Good Lord.
Andy, go ahead. Are you an extrovert, Andy?
Yeah, I'm an extrovert.
I'm surprised. Okay,
I'm calling bullshit.
and
You
Is
got to
that-
reframe that face. Do that again. Adam,
Is
do
that
that
really-
again. Come on.
How does that
Anyone who
influence?
comes on the show has to be an
How does that
extrovert,
influence your marketing? Okay, I'm too far all over the place today. I'd like other people to take the lead here, but let's finish off with that.
Are you like the life of the party?
Go ahead.
It depends. It depends if
6 beers in, 10 beers in.
Depends if there's. I think, Andy, you guys drink
It's like-
vodka, right?
with my own family, I won't get a word in But with my wife's family, I'm the life of the party. I'm making jokes, cracks. I'm needling people. I'm the center of attention the whole time. So what does that make me? I would say an extrovert, but I'm open to getting a diagnosis from the animal on the Recruiting Animal Show.
No, well, I was trying to translate it into business. Ivan, you're making funny faces. Is that a sign to me that you wanted to say something, or just ignore
I just
that?
think there's also like a cultural dimension, like Finland and the Nordic countries, they're probably generally like, for them, like extrovert. Maybe in the US, this person would be more considered like
okay.
an introvert. And in the US,
Okay.
it's like everyone is like shouting how awesome they are. Like
Okay,
from birth,
let
I
me
suppose.
let me just ask some basics. Do you have any favorite tools? Do
Well,
you
the
have any
intention for
favorite?
Michael is.
Do you have any favorite tools, Andy, that you want to share with us?
We got reason.
Yeah.
My
No
favorite
vaccine
tool.
for the reason.
My favorite tools are all the communications tools, all the tools to kind of reach a big audience with my content marketing. And then my favorite tools is the tools that bring me the most information in sourcing. So Recruiter by LinkedIn for sure.
What kind of account do you have on LinkedIn?
We have the one that makes you wake up at night and in a cold sweat about making payments.
A corporate account.
The one that
LinkedIn Recruiter.
where
You got the top one. You need
when you
you
get
need that in Iceland?
Probably not, but yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he's making more money than I thought. Okay.
I would not be surprised if LinkedIn had a restrictor plate on his searches where he could only see like a tenth of the population.
Uh-huh.
Michael, they will do that for sure. I mean, they are as crooked as they come.
Yeah.
Andy, have you ever been in LinkedIn jail?
Never.
That's where Ernie lives, by the way.
But
We
I-
visit
These are
him on the
good
weekends.
people. These
I was
these
in
are
Link-
good people only using allowed tools. They don't even know what you're talking about with LinkedIn. They only behave in a good way. I know it's hard to understand for Americans, right?
I was in LinkedIn solitary
Oh,
confinement.
wow.
Wait, behave in a good way? You want me to do
I
what?
got a bone to pick with you.
I'll say
What is
something.
this good behavior thing
I'll
you're
say
speaking of?
something that might land me in LinkedIn jail. I love the tool, but I hate the people who develop it with a purple passion.
No, I like that. I like you, man. You're good. Who likes LinkedIn? Bunch of, I can't say anything.
I'm still trying to get that list off of the dark web, man.
I already got it.
Shut up!
Seriously, I'm downloading one part of the list right now.
What's the database tool that you're going to use for it?
I'm working on it.
By
with
the way,
team over
Animal,
here.
you're going to have to totally cut this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I-
Here, Mario,
Talk
let's
about
go.
it offline then. Okay. Look,
You're going to land me in real jail. From what I'm hearing.
what do you do when you call the candidate, or you call someone up? I want to talk to you about a position. I don't know. You said you're using InMail, so maybe you don't cold call somebody, and they say first thing they say, I want to know the money and I want to know the company. What do you say, Andy?
I'll say, what are you making now?
Don't you know that taboo? That's taboo now. You're never supposed to ask that.
It's Iceland.
I always do. Why is
There's
that
no
taboo?
laws there.
First of all, it's racist and sexist. Okay, it's used to hold that.
In some states, you're not supposed to ask that, Andy.
Yeah,
Here in the United
Oh, yeah.
States.
it's on the way out, but everybody, it's on the way. In California, for instance, you're not allowed to. I think. I don't know about
Yeah.
New York, Massachusetts.
You're not supposed to ask in New York or Massachusetts.
Okay, so it's becoming taboo. Maybe you're allowed to smoke indoors in Iceland.
You just have to
as
ask
well.
them what do they want to make? That's all.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
you walk them backwards.
What are your
So in
salary
other words, you
expectations? Yeah.
turn it on to them. And what if they say, "What company is it?" What do you say? This is a tough one.
Yeah, I'll talk around it and say no. I can't share it at this moment, but I'll go pretty close and describing the opportunity, and I'll give them a lot of anecdotes. Everything I use, everything that is kind of that I think is cool. If
So what do you
something-
just say? I can't share it, and they buy that. Is that right?
Yeah.
You have them already on the phone. Why would you like hide that? Like you have them on the phone.
Because
it's
they'll
already-
Then the
go around your
conversation's over in
back.
10 seconds. It's not even that they're going to go around you. Once you tell them the company, your The conversation is over. They're like, oh, I gotta go. My cat threw up or whatever.
No,
I mean,
normal people
all
don't
the
do
time.
that.
Oh my God. Yes.
But-
Not even a conversation. I
But,
hate
all
when
the
recruiters
time,
just say,
Rich.
oh, here's the company. And then 90% of the time, the candidate's off the phone within
Why?
5
Why is that, Rich? And how
Why?
is it? what do you
Why?
mean?
Because half of them are just tire kickers, and half of them, they're going to say, "Oh, great, I got to go now," and they need to do their own research. You don't get to hear the story. Their job are salespeople. It's to tell the story, not just to give a company name out.
So hold on, you're saying that if you don't tell them the company, they're more likely to be interested in the position than if you tell them the company, or if you
If
tell
you-
them the company at the end. If you
Before
tell
you
them
twist it, hang on. Before you twist it around,
Not twist it.
if you withhold the company, and I just did this morning. I'm like, listen, I'll tell you the company, but I've got to know what you're about first too. I mean, I think you'd be a great fit, but just because I think so doesn't mean it's right. I want to know what you're interested in. I want to know.
No,
I got
that's
30
not what you
opportunities.
said. What you said was they hang
no,
up. The
No.
implication
Before
was-
you twist it around, as I said.
The implication was that if you can keep them on longer, you could actually sell them on something
You're right.
they would reject.
That is true.
So I understood it that the company was going to come out at the end, not at the beginning.
Exactly.
If it comes out at the beginning.
Once I have
it's
all my
over.
information, because what if this guy, I don't want to recruit this guy just for this job. I want to know if he's right for the 30 others I've got. So why do I want to just say, hey, here's company X and this guy's up, I got to go. Happens all the time. So why don't you get to know the person, see what really makes them tick, what's they're excited about.
Anybody else want to comment on that? What happens when they want to know the company? Anybody else?
I agree with Rich. You tell them at the end, and you tell them, and in between, if they're a fit, you tell them the name of the company. If they're not a fit, you just explain to them why they're not a fit for this particular company. But let's look elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're filling in the details. You're not like eliminating, you're not telling them anything, but you're getting them a little excited. You get little drips throughout the conversation, but you're also finding out about that person so you can
What
use
if
them
you
for
say,
future
look,
search.
what if you say like what Andy says, I can't share that right now. And they say, look, if you don't tell me, I'm not going to talk to you. What do you say? Andy, what do you say? Tell me or I'm hanging up.
I say that's fine. No, I say that's fine.
Really? Yeah,
yeah.
you'll lose. You're not afraid of losing that person.
No, I'll say, maybe I'll get back to you if we get to a point where we're ready to share the company, and then I know I'll get back to you.
So I tell you, oftentimes you let them go, or oftentimes you just make a company name up. You make a company name up and say, oh, the website's down. But hey, listen, let me give you the insight. And then you still tell them the whole story. Then, hey, I got the second opportunity for you also. I mean, if they're going to be prima donnas at the beginning, who the fuck cares? Let them self-select that if that's their only reason for knowing the company. Clearly, if I wanted to give you the company
If
up
you're
front, I
recruiting
would have put it in
in
the
a field-
freaking email.
No.
Yeah,
Look, if
true,
you're recruiting,
true.
you
I agree
guys are
with
so casual. Oh, I don't care. If they're not willing to, to listen, let them screw off. I don't care. But if
Well,
you're
this is how you do the
if
job.
you're recruiting for a narrow,
Animal, you talk to them, they want to know the location, they don't want to move. Therefore, the job's out of line for them anyway, so you don't need to tell them anything. Their salary may be too high, it's no deal. There's certain things that'll disqualify them right off the bat.
what's wrong with
And
me?
then you just move on.
I'm looking. It's always a
You're
narrow.
looking.
group of people.
You're looking for a warm hug, animal, instead of making money.
No. You're thinking, please stay on the line with me. Please listen to me. Maybe just.
I'm
take a
thinking
look at
I've got to
this
get to my
job.
next call. I'm like, I need to talk to someone who is serious, not this tire kicker.
There's not so many candidates around that you're, especially.
And you know
when
what?
you're
Why
in
waste time with the
Reykjavik.
tire kicker?
Okay, how many people do you have to choose from? You got to hold on to those people once you get.
There's lots of candidates out there. You just have to get them interested.
Andy, is there so many candidates where you
Oh,
are that
nicely.
you can
That's
toss
what
them
we
aside?
No, probably not. But I want to ask Rich, because he's talking about tire kickers in a derogatory way. But then he also said, I want to talk to them about maybe some other opportunities that I have. So maybe the tire kickers is actually what we want, right?
You don't want them, but you got to start somewhere. But if someone only wants to know, hey, this is the company. I can't talk to you until I know the company. You know what? Then you're really not interested in making a change. You're really just nosy and curious, which I get, but that's not how I work. And I've said this to candidates, and you know what? Some of them it turns it around, and eventually give them the company, and it turns out I was right there with tire kickers. Other
What
times
about
they turn out
this?
to be great
You tell them
candidates.
the company, and they say, "Oh, I got to walk my dog," like Rich claims. And you
All
say,
the
"Wait
time.
a second, you've got it all wrong." You use that there and say, "Look, don't hang up. I've got a story now.
Don't hang
Andy.
up, click.
Now, Andy, I've got a story to tell you that you've got to hear, okay, before you go. Isn't that when you hook them?
Or you tell them the story first, get them hooked, get them excited, hear the questions they have to ask, hear what they really have to say, hear what's going on. What do they really want to know? Good questions. The good questions from the candidates really tells you their interest more than the words, more than their, just saying yes, yes, yes.
It's not like there's dozens. If you're doing a high level search, not necessarily CEO, but something specialized, a project manager with certain kinds of experience, and the hiring manager is asking for all kinds of goofy things. And there's only a narrow number of people in the right geographic area. You don't want to cast them aside. That's my take. Sorry, I'm interviewing myself again. That's not a good idea.
It's okay, Animal. We like to hear your voice.
Almost as
Okay.
much as you like to hear your voice.
Well, I don't like to hear my voice, but I have to steer you guys sometimes, I think, in the right direction.
Into the wrong
okay?
direction.
Steer us towards your preferred answer. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
The wrong preferred answer.
Okay.
I wonder.
I got a burning question from, and you guys will answer it all. You'll go
You got a
around
cream for that.
everybody. Okay. When they ask the money, though, Andy, do you give them a range? And if you give them a range, do you tell them right to the top? Okay.
Please say you don't give them a range.
No, I won't even go there until really
Good
late in
man.
the game. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
but what about when you get late in the game? At some point, you're going to have to say, yeah, they're paying 80 to 100. Do you tell them 100?
I'll give them like the lower number, and then I'll say, there's some leg room probably, and we can do something about the different areas of compensation, like what's important to you.
So
Like an extra
recruiters, you're
blanket.
saying,
Yeah.
don't be honest. Don't be honest with these guys, okay? Budget, okay? Why? Why do you tell them the low number?
It depends on it depends on situation. If you know their number, I won't say the lower number. I'll say the higher number because it's closest to what they claim to be making now. So it depends on the situation, but definitely I won't undercut myself and lose the client, the candidate at the last moment because I overplayed
Okay, so you
my hand
already
with
know.
the-
Okay, well, everybody knows what they're looking for, but you won't just tell them blandly or straight out the range. Mario R, wake
I've
up.
done that. Oh, go ahead.
I'm up. I tell them the overall range and tell them that there's some, if depending on the experience, if they're really good and if they're a little bit, the range is below
Do you
theirs.
tell them the top? Do you tell them the top end?
Yeah,
But
Of
okay,
course.
the complaint then is they only hear the top end, and if they don't deserve the top end, they'll get pissed off.
no, I tell them it depends on experience. Golden words,
They don't
DOE.
understand that, and they understand it.
They need to
You
understand. They cannot
will
solve
cost yourself placements by doing that, Mario.
Seriously, I'll take your word for it. So what do you suggest? I'm
What
all
do I-
ears, man.
You never tell them the range.
Okay,
It's a
never tell
sucker's
them
game
range.
at that point because you're going to
Okay,
lose them at some point. They're going to get bent out of shape, especially in this market where there's 9,000 opportunities out there.
All right.
They're going to
Okay.
have something better, and they're going to be like,
Okay.
"Hey, why don't these guys love me?" They love someone more because the range was higher. I didn't get the high end of the range. Human nature. You're only going to hear what
Okay.
you want to hear.
And
Okay.
usually when the
So
employer
no range, just a salary.
when an
I
employer
don't even tell them the salary. I just say, "Listen, you got to trust me. I'm not going to waste my time. Putting you in a
Golden
process
words.
if it's not going to fit." And and I tell them, "Listen, I get paid on the basis of what I get you. So clearly, I'm not going to lowball you, but I want to make sure you're happy. I want to make sure the client's happy, and that works 99.9% of the time."
And in situations where
I'm
the
taking
employer
this. Thank
tells you, I will go from A to Z. I find that going to Z is never really the case for the employer. They usually want to be a little below that.
Yeah, they don't want to be that, but in this market, they'll actually go above it too.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing.
they
You
will,
know,
but they'll
but-
argue over the fact they're going to Z.
They will, but the whole point is, this is why you don't want to give them a range and you don't want to say a specific number, because what if the client loves him and it goes higher? What if the client likes him but won't go high enough?
So the
But
key
you give
is
a number, you're screwed.
so the key is to understand what the employee wants, what the candidate wants.
Yeah, what the employee wants, assuming it's relatively in range. If the candidate's like, listen, I need 150 and they're only paying, I know for a fact they're not going to get above 140 unless the person literally can walk on water. I tell them that. Yeah, that's the only time I'll tell them a salary if I know they're above it. But then I said, there's equity, and listen, you have the growth potential, and quite frankly, you'll love your boss that'll work for this jackass you're working for now.
And then the location as well.
Yeah, mine are all remote, so that's never a problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going from New York to North Carolina,
Yeah.
it's a different ballgame. San Francisco.
Andy Cox wanted to tell us something about 10 minutes ago.
So I normally do tell them what the range is, but I'll also let them know, hey, look, doesn't matter where you're at. This is the range. If we're within range of where you need to be, then we can move forward. You're going to be, and I'll tell them flat out, you're going to be focused on that top number. And if you land any kind of an offer below that top number, you're going to feel the sting of that. But I'm going to tell you, the one thing that's going to change that, put you on that range or affect that range more so than anything else is your performance during the interview process. But I can't guarantee that you're going to be at the top end.
Then you just say why they if they get not the top range, then you just say, hey, look, you didn't know like 1, 2, 3 interview questions. Like, of course, stuff like that. I mean, you can always they don't automatically feel bad about it if there is a good reason they performed not good in the interview, and now they might not get the top salary, but they might get a raise like 3 months, 6 months down the line. So
yeah, but they don't care. It doesn't work like that over here.
Yeah, maybe like US is like this cutthroat, whatever, culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
America's cutthroat, no doubt.
But what I'm hearing,
then you got to work the other side too. You got to work the client side too, and let them know. Listen, if you're going to lowball this guy, there's another 1,000 recruiters out there that are probably calling him right now with an offer for $5,000 or $10,000 more than what he's actually, which is what he's looking for. So, say you do the math for him, you break it all down, and tell them to save themselves the trouble and the headache, and just give them the extra 5 or 10 grand now. So,
my head is spinning. Okay, there's 2 things we talked about. Okay. Telling them the company, not telling them the company, telling them a range, like the top of the range or the bottom range, or like Rich is saying, don't tell them any money at all.
You can literally get people interviewing without knowing the salary or the company if you can build the relationship.
I don't know how to do that. I mean, Andy, is that confusing you, or are you saying, okay, I got to listen to Rich, or are you saying he's not? Okay, what are you saying?
I think Rich is onto something, but maybe it's a question of retained versus contingency search, because it's all about incentives, and. In our case, we want to work with that client again, and if they get the feeling that we've kind of helped the candidate beef up the compensation, we're gonna hear about it, or worse, not hear from them again. So that's what I wonder. But I think Rich is right. I think actually, I worry about.
You just said he's wrong, okay? Sorry to hear myself talk. You just said he's wrong. Now you're saying he's right. No wonder I'm confused.
Andy, is there a shortage of candidates in your country?
There's a shortage of humans.
Yeah,
for sure. There's a big shortage of candidates, but they value the opportunity. So they won't, they will get back to us, and they will listen to it, even if I don't give them a number, or if I don't give them a company, because they're not just thinking about this one opportunity. They're thinking about more opportunities, and they want to build rapport with me as a recruiter. And I don't get it. Are they getting so many calls in your areas that they don't value building a relationship with a recruiter that contacts them and is interested in them, might bring them more opportunities? I don't really get it.
That is wild. That's exactly what it is.
Every candidate has multiple offers going on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Multiple interviews going on.
Even if they weren't looking when I first contacted them, the moment that I contact them, they start looking.
Really?
They do.
Okay.
They suddenly become open.
As soon as you get them an interview role and the blood starts pouring out and sharks start swimming around them, and away you go. You got to tell clients up front, you got 2 weeks to hire the guy, or you're going to lose him.
I'm going to do ads for all you people now. We're at the end of the show. I feel like I didn't spend enough time with the guest, but he can come back anytime. I'll grill him again. Okay, and that last one, that was an interesting question. I'm so confused. Maybe in the weeks to come, I can help sort I don't think so, but I'd like to sort it out in my mind. Okay, Andres. you want to try to give us your website again, or if you could become regular, I'll buy you a domain name in the best language in the world, English, and people will be
No,
able to
not
find
really.
you.
I don't want you to find me. I don't come from Iceland. I come from Greenland. It's greenland.com. After telling you about this market, I
I
don't
thought
want
the U.S. was going to buy Greenland. Okay, he's from Iceland. Okay, this guy's from Reykjavik, and
Okay,
he's
that's very
a
good.
nice guy. His name is Andres, Andres Jonsson, Jonssson. Okay, Mario R. Spell your URL because I forget it.
ElexisRecruiting.com.
Spell Elexis. Spell it. How do you spell it?
ELEXIS.
Okay. CornerstoneSearch.com. Rich, we never asked for his tax form, but we give him the credit. We give him the credit that it's
I want to
true.
see the W-2s.
Michael G. Cox, the salesrecruiter.com, foodindustryrecruiter.com, the great Ernie Marino, and Clang, KLANGSO, one of the newest ATSs. Have you seen my Facebook group lately? Yeah. It's what ATS should I use? What ATS should I use? That's all people are interested in, aren't they? Okay.
I mean, the group is kind of nuts at
I
times.
recommend
Bye-bye.
Microsoft Excel.
Thanks, everybody.
Loxo, bye-bye.